Now our next speaker is Ms. Lona Heins. She's joining us this evening from Columbia. She's the past president of Murray County Republican Women and is a conservative activist. Join me in welcoming her, if she doesn't mind joining me up here tonight, as she shares with us how she's become involved in various conservative issues and how we can get involved too in various ways that she's an activist and a leader in our community or our state. Thank you so much, Lona.
Thank you. Like Julie, I am a stay-at-home mom. I have two boys, 15 and 17, and that is my full-time job. Out of all the things that I would rather do other than take care of my children would be a big mouth, waving my flag at legislators, telling them what we need in our community. So I wanted to just say thank you, first of all, to Mark Pody for coming today. It's good to see you again. And Bruce Griffey, it's good to see you again. Last time I saw Bruce was in Florida, so we were there with the 917 project at Mar-a-Lago, so it was really nice to see you today. Real quick, too, I just want to recognize Miss Tricia Stickle, who is here. She is my mentor, one of my best friends, and she is the inspiration for our Sentinel group in Murray County. I've known Tricia for a long time. We were in Williamson County as well, working together. A little bit about me, and also I wanted to recognize Miss Debbie Matthews, who's also the vice chair for the Murray County Republican Party, who's here as a guest. Thank you all for coming. A little bit about me. I am a stay-at-home mom, like I said. I grew up in the great state of South Dakota, the daughter of a farmer and a rancher. Big mouth from the time I was little. I'm the 8th of 9, so we had to speak loudly to get any attention. It's actually paid off very well for me. Everybody wants to know what is an activist. That's kind of a broad question. Webster's dictionary says an activist is a person who campaigns to bring about political and social change. The Oxford Dictionary says it's a person who strongly believes in political or social change and takes part in activities to try to make those changes happen. It's interesting, too, as I was looking this up and trying to figure out what exactly to say about what I do and what I enjoy, and hope that you all can someday do, too. There were antonyms and synonyms for an activist, and it's kind of striking. The antonyms were radical, extremists, were militants, and were zealots. How many in this room have been called those names? That's right, Republicans. The synonyms were reformers, demonstrators, champions, battlers, advocates, and promoters. I don't know about you, but I haven't really been called those names, but I'd like to be. What exactly does an activist do? Well, activists write letters. We become involved in our community. We write letters to the editor. We talk to our congressmen. We talk to our senators. We call them on the phone. We tell them what we're hearing within our constituencies and our districts and the regions where we live. And we try to convey those points to the people that we have chosen and voted for so that they understand what the basic needs are within their districts. Really, the whole aim of activism is reform. It's really that simple. To take things that are happening now, reform them, and make them better for the community. Many of us who want to be involved, and Julie, unlike you, I like to use my notes, so forgive me. Many of us who want to become involved have jobs. We have families. We have responsibilities to tend to, and this is especially true if you're conservative. I'm not discrediting Democrats, but it seems like they have a whole lot more time than we do to do this stuff. We have very little time to expel and extra stuff, and many also wish to remain anonymous within the community. We don't want to be doxxed. We don't want to be followed. We don't want our names spread on the internet and told that we're wrong for what we believe. My personal history, like I said, I moved into the area in 1993 from upstate New York. I was in culinary school, I got a job, and I became immediately involved with the Davidson County Republican Party. I worked within Senate campaigns and local campaigns as well. Got married, moved to Williamson County, became involved with the Republican Women of Williamson County, became involved with the GOP, and eventually ended up in Murray County after speaking with Tricia, we have the need for a Sentinel group. Sentinel group, what is a Sentinel group? Well, the Sentinel definition is a military term. A Sentinel is a soldier. We watch and we stand on a wall. We make the phone calls and we talk to people. Most of the time, when you're a Sentinel, it's actually a broad term. A little history. So the Sentinel is actually a real group started by the Heritage Action Committee. Do you all know what Heritage Action is? Have you ever heard of Heritage? Heritage Action is actually a part of the Heritage Foundation, started in Washington, D.C. The Heritage Foundation is a think tank, and we have 500,000 members. So out of the Heritage Foundation came a sister group called Heritage Action. And Heritage Action basically does the work, the groundwork of activism. We believe in limited government, traditional values. We're pro-life, pro-conservative. We fight back and give policy solutions to America so that they can stand up and be proud of who we are again. Let me see, I'm sorry. The Sentinel group is, if you go to the website, which is Heritage Foundation, heritageaction.org or .com, you can find out what we do. There's a specific section on that website that talks about what the Sentinels do. So we basically train you how to go in front of legislators and stay on top of issues. And this is easy because everything on the website is actually done for you. You don't have to function outside and think about what you're going to say. You can go online. If you have an issue with CRT, let's say, and this deals with the federal level, okay? And we'll talk about local just briefly after I present this. On the federal level, let's say you want to talk about CRT, you want to talk to your congressman, who's Scott DeJarlais. You want to call him and talk to him and say, this is what I wanted you to know about CRT, this is what I believe, this is what my constituents are saying. You know, a lot of times we sit and we get nervous. I don't know about you, but I used to get really nervous when I'd have to make a phone call and go, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know if I know the facts well enough. Well, if you go on the website as a Sentinel and you're a volunteer, it's free to everybody. They tell you what to say. So the letters are written, the editorials are written. If you want to write to your paper, you can go online. Things that you want to post online, all the graphics are already done. Twitter is already done for you. If you have Twitter accounts, you can just take it from the website and post it and activate the people that you know. And real quick, after talking to Tricia when we got here, I think the most important thing to know as a Sentinel is that we work locally. That's probably the most important thing, is Heritage Action, which is where the Sentinels come from. Heritage Action works from the top down, okay? So they get the big issues and they work down to us. But on a local level, we work as Sentinels from the bottom up. We work within the community and we contact people like Mr. Pody and Mr. Griffey. And we go to the State House and we meet with them in their offices and we talk to them one-on-one, because really politics and all of activism is about relationship. It's about having a relationship and a command of that relationship and building trust so that they know who you are and they know what you believe and they know who the people around you are and what they believe. So what is a Sentinel? We are soldiers and we are an army. We are men and women, so you don't have to just be a woman. We are men and women, we're young and old, and we gather to protect our nation's integrities and truths. We are Americans who believe in our Constitution, the Bill of Rights. We believe in tradition. We believe in God openly and freely. We believe in the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and we believe in small and limited government. We believe in the right to bear arms and the ability to be autonomous and free from the likes of Washington, D.C., and even sometimes Nashville.
Amen.
Thank you. We believe in candid, and I know y'all, Bruce, Mark, Tricia, you can say, this is the truth. We believe in candid and frank conversations. Really, really frank conversations with the people that we've elected and put into those offices. It is important as a Sentinel and as an activist, not just to tell people what you think, but to get your people together. Get a small group of people in your house. It doesn't have to be a dinner. It can be a coffee. Get them together. Make printouts. What is CRT? What is the election laws that we're facing in Tennessee? What is the Voting Rights Act? I mean, what are we doing with education? We need to know, your friends and your family and your community needs to know what's going on so that when it comes down and is disseminated into your public schools or into your communities, you're not surprised. And if that happens, I'm going to sound harsh, but you have yourselves to blame. It's your fault. We're here because nobody has picked up the mantle and the torch and done the right thing. That's our job as activists. That's our job as Sentinels. We talk to these people. They want to know what you think. They want to know how you feel. And if you're not communicating with them, they're going to guess. It's important to have that relationship. Sentinels are committed activists who stand on the wall. We are watchmen. I don't know if you're familiar with the Bible verse about watchmen. But the Bible verse in the Old Testament says this basically, and I'll summarize. If you're standing on a wall, God puts watchmen on the wall. If you're standing on that wall and you see an army coming from the other direction and you warn the people within the wall, you've done your job. You will not be held responsible. But God says, not me, God says that if you're on a wall and you see an army approaching and you turn your back and say nothing, the blood is on you. It's on every one of you in this room. We have a responsibility to our children and our grandchildren and to each other in our communities. We are watchmen, and we are a battalion of believers who place our banners high on the hill of the shining city. That's America. Do you remember that quote? That's America. And we volunteer our services. We don't get paid. I spend many, many hours away. Well, maybe not this summer, Tricia, sorry. With travel ball. We've been traveling all over the country with my 15-year-old who's 6'4" and a lefty pitcher, so who knows. But we have a responsibility. It's okay to put it down, but you need to come back. We hold our banners high, and we volunteer our services, our time, our families, our lives, to watch, observe, and call out those we put our faith in, who represent us in D.C. and in Nashville. That's our responsibility. You can't look at these guys and say, what did you do? You're going to have to look at yourselves and go, what did I do? How come I didn't know about this? There's resources online. I've got 4 pages of resources that I printed out personally and brought for y'all to kind of look at. You can take pictures of them up here on the table. I'll leave them. But there is no excuse anymore. There's none. If you're not active and there are things happening in this country that you don't like, it is your responsibility to get out and change it. The left is doing it. It's our time. It's our time. We are accountable. These men and women are accountable to us, their constituents, but we volunteer our services without reservation. So with all that said, I hope you'll consider coming and talking to other Tricia and I and talk about becoming a Sentinel. It's easy. It's painless. And all it will cost you is a little bit of time every week. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming tonight and speaking to us. And yes, the Heritage Foundation, so this is the activist arm of the Heritage Foundation, and it is free to join. You can go online and join and definitely talk to her.